Hi everyone, I'm Jude Hotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. We're going to get into the chart for today and do some card pulls. Hope you all are doing amazing. This is a really powerful week. So it's such an active week. There's so much going on. The sun is in the last decan of Taurus, and so it's going to be it's nearing the North Node. So it's going to be passing over the North Node, conjoining tomorrow, and then passing over the next day. This is really important. The North Node is our destiny as humanity, about building abundance, moving from the lack mentality, that's industrial era way of viewing things, scarcity, lack, the way that the world viewed money, into really living from an abundance mindset, living from a mindset that you're guided by spirit, and the universe is calling you into a higher destiny, that you're living a different life. You're moving into this love consciousness, this 5D, and always in that higher frequency. And so there's a lot coming up around that. It's going to bring up a lot of the limitations or the things that are causing you to feel like you're off destiny, and it's going to present them so that you can move through them and understand them. Uranus has moved to 15 degrees Taurus, off of my sun direct, and is still going to be helping us shed Taurus attachments to what we think is the best, what we think is the most worthy, helping us to understand that so much can be good. There's 1,000 options, not just one, helping us to shake up our ideas around money, abundance, self-worth, and to build that greater self-worth. We have Jupiter in Aries now, and so there's this rush of energy. However, it's titrated by Saturn and also by Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde, it's really important to to check twice, to look in your mirrors, look in your blind spots when you're driving, look twice when you cross the street, think about it a couple of times, double check all the paperwork, things like that. It's just a lot of misunderstandings can occur, a lot of people not communicating very well. And not feeling like you understand each other when you communicate. The moon's still in Virgo, and so it can be feeling very good to get anything in order, getting errands done, or the to-do list dealt with. And so there's this other energy of this special time, that these 2 days here is this important time of something changing. This whole month is really about changing and moving forward and moving into different energies. We've been underneath this intense Pisces energy. And Pisces is out in the fog and the dream and the mist on the sea. While it's imaginative and dreamy and mystical and magical, it's also the deep karmic shit. And it's being kind of in the cesspool. It's kind of being in that deep subconscious, subliminal stuff. It's there for a reason, to move through it, to face it, to clear it, to heal it. But it can also just felt like so many emotions and so lost feelings, so just directionless, rudderless. And so with Mars and Pisces here, moving closer and closer to Neptune, it's going to be asking you to face the karma, to face the shadowlands, to move through them. But Jupiter is helping so much now in Aries, clearing things up, and Mercury and its home sign, even while retrograde, it's a deep reflection on the past and what we've been through, and what it's a reflection on all of this Neptunian energy that we just went through, with having 4 planets in Neptune, Venus exalted there, 4 planets in Pisces, rather, Neptune sign, but Venus exalted there, and Jupiter having just moved out of there. So it's a deep reflection on everything that you did heal, everything that may flash through your mental screen, that is releasing, it's its hold upon you. And that's okay. That's a really positive, great thing. There is this square to Pluto and Jupiter you know, here for a little bit. And Pluto's always about the deep transformation. It's for the greater good. So it's your transformation that helps the soul journey of all of humanity, like what you're doing for the greater humanity, your sacred calling. So it's Pluto ends things that don't help you to further your path to grow and to move forward. And Pluto takes things away, and often we don't realize where we've gotten comfortable, that we've gotten comfortable in the back alleys, that we've gotten comfortable in the strip clubs, that we've gotten comfortable in the dark places, and really not being in the light and being in the darkness. And, you know, it's known territory, the devil that you know, right? Instead of the devil you don't know. So it can be a challenge to release the attachments, this Taurus energy and this Uranus and Taurus helping us to release those attachments to the darker side of life, which is a Scorpio South Node, all of these darker things. There's a lot of things going to be surfacing until next summer of the power plays and how power's been abused, and dark sexual territories is going to come up in the news and in the media. Those things are going to be revealed. And Pluto here, with this square to Jupiter is saying, you know, what's your power? Like, make a decision on your power. But it can be that you have to move through it, that you have to use your spiritual gig bag. What do you need to do to be there with yourself? The shadow's not wrong. There's the darkness, you know, there's different ways to define darkness, and the darkness can really come in at times in your emotions and in your negative emotions, negative states. And that's the darkness inside us that we really have to face. Is it the shadow that needs face? Do you need coaching? Do you need emotional skills? Do you need emotional support? Do you need help moving through it? Do you have some learning to do in that area? Do you just need conscious distraction? And you need to use some other techniques because the other techniques aren't working. With the upgrades that we're seeing, some of the old tools aren't going to work, or they're not going to work right now. So be really versatile, be flexible. And that's this Mercury and Gemini, that with your mind, you must be versatile. You must come from all angles. The Mercury is Hermes. It's a hermetic view that looks from two sides, but there's really not two sides. There's 1,000, right? And so it's like, what door can you open that you can walk through? Because it's not that there's a right door. It's the one that helps. You know, wisdom is what works. There's not a set wisdom. What works 80% of the time won't work the other 20% of the time. And so it's really giving yourself that deep compassion. And Mars here wants to take compassionate action, to be the spiritual warrior. This Pisces, you know, Mars and Pisces, it's the warrior for soul. That is for something higher, to move humanity into this higher frequency, into love consciousness, into being a heart-centric people, to let go of money and the mind and reason being on the pedestal over people. I've had an experience where somebody really discounted the energetic work that I'd offered them, but put money above that and really had money on the pedestal, but in so doing discounted the energetic work and the love and the giving that was not monetary. And so it's like, where's money at in your world? Is it above everything else? Is it above people and compassion and divine love? And these are important topics when we're here in Taurus season, because everything you can unravel about money in your money shadow will help you move into greater abundance. And that's what we do in Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program, where we use your chart, and I do deep shamanic coaching using your chart, where you get to know yourself at the deepest levels because you're using your map and looking at the potentialities. And it's like, if it is meant to happen to you, it's in your chart. However, you have free will. You get to choose what you want to do with these potentialities. So we might say, hey, there's definitely the possibility to be married. There's definitely the possibility to have abundance in this area, or to have abundance in this area, or to do a business like this, or to have these different possibilities. what do you want for yourself? And how can we move you into that powerful place and shed the shadow that keeps us limited and keeps us in these darker places in our mind? You know, this Mercury is going to be reviewing these places so that we can move into higher frequencies and to move into better spots. Black Moon Lilith is in Cancer, and she has a quincunx to Pluto, and Pluto is power and deep transformation, right? Well, Black Moon Lilith she was with Adam and before Eve came in, and she would refuse to be subservient. She gave Adam many chances and tried to reason with him and tried to be the equal and have the egalitarian relationship, but he wanted to have dominance over her. He wanted to have this disjointed relationship. He had to be king. He had to be over her. And she said no to that. And she was demonized for that. And she was said to be making demonic babies and to going off. And she was told that she was doing wrong by what supposedly was spirit and all of these stories. And so it's like, really, Lilith is this representation of how women have given over their authority and their power to what does not serve them, which is anybody's authority being over your own. It doesn't mean you can't have great teachers, great gurus. Guru is just Sanskrit for teachers. We don't have to put guru into this weird definition. It's just Sanskrit for teacher. It's just a Sanskrit word. So, you know, you can have a great guru, you can have a great mentors and wise aunties and wise people in your life and people ahead of you on the spiritual journey, but their authority still should never take the place of your own authority. And your own authority may be misguided, but that's also how you learn and grow. And you can't grow and learn without the experience, because wisdom is not knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge and experience and humility. And so it takes that to be a powerful light goddess in this world, your own experience. And in having your own experiences, you might have, you know, humiliation, you might have self-consciousness, you might have low self-worth, issues arise, or feelings of insecurity, karmic fear, weird things that are just karmic things that you don't even know where the hell they're coming from or what the hell the name of it even is. And that's what we do in Alchemical Goddess. We move through that so powerfully so that you regain your power. And this Black Lilith is this representation of woman moving through the stages of initiation and deep transformation and going down into the dark goddess, into rising into the power of who she is, where she does not listen to these stories that demonized her for being unwilling to be subservient to Adam. And Eve, you know, replaced her and came in and was willing to be subservient to Adam and listen to his directives. And so Lilith is given to this day, the stories told about her still erroneous and are still demonizing her. But there's a lot to learn from mythology, from all parts of it, because we are all of those things. Everyone has the ability and has within their ego and their shadow all parts, all the challenges, all the good parts, all of the megalomania, all of the deep, compassionate Mother Teresa vibes. So we all must contend with this, and to be a light goddess, you are held to this higher standard. And so you go through such deep, massive transformation. Many people don't want to go into the depths of their psyche to heal karma, to be done with the cyclical, you know, regurgitation of that over lifetime after lifetime. If you're going to come back to clean slate, come back to a higher place, come back to more and as a more enlightened being, a more intelligent being, a more psychically in tuned being. You know, we have all these levels. We have intelligence, we have the psychic abilities, and we have the spiritual skills. Spiritual, that word's thrown around so much, but it's humility, it's compassion, it's love, it's the ability to understand other people and to hold space. And so these things are so important. So if you're gonna come back another lifetime, come back at this higher level, because you dealt with that shit in this life. So many people just want strategies and solutions, and that's fine. And so many people just want to be heard and listened to, and that's fine. But to go into the deep, dark places, the dark goddess, and to retrieve the highest power that you have within you, that it's always bottomless. There's always more depth. There's always more love. There's always more self-worth. that's the place to go in, because at least if you're going to come back and you know, and have another lifetime here on this earth plane and the earth experience, then at least you're going to be at this different place and dealing with way better things to deal with. I mean, don't come back and deal with the same money bullshit. Don't come back and deal with the same self-worth bullshit, or subservience, or sexual issues, or people being control, abusing their power with you, or these old things. Let's heal together. Let's move forward together. That's what Light Goddess is all about. You can go to thegoddessastrologer.com to book a complimentary goddess call to apply for Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program. It is transformational. That's actually just an understatement. It just is a lifetime worth of value, and you stay in breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough on this journey to get the results that you want in your life, and to be this powerful spiritual entrepreneur, and to be this powerful person, woman, standing in her power on sacred calling. So spiritual business is a little bit different than really being on sacred calling. You can have a spiritual business but not really have that much depth and knowledge of this territory and terrain, and not really be at the highest standard that you can be at yourself. These are powerful transformational days. This Jupiter energy is so beautiful because it's giving us the chance to step into a different place and out of so much Pisces energy, heavy Pisces energy that could just be really in the in that one of those scenes in the first Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like the ships and it's all this mist and they're just out unanchored and floating, and it's like that kind of energy where you don't know when the mist clear what's going to be there. And that's what this Mercury retrograde is doing for us, and that is what Jupiter and Aries is helping us. But that Jupiter and Aries might push and make you want to push and just double check, look both ways before you walk in traffic. People are not driving well. Be aware of that kind of stuff. Like anything, like power tools, think about your surroundings, think about where your feet are and the cords are, all these types of things. We have blue, she who wants love. So there's some deep sadness going on. That's that Pisces energy. 4 planets having been in Pisces, we went through it on purpose. It was meant to go deep into the spiritual depths within ourselves, to look at our soul mission, our sacred calling, to call to us the soul life, Venus in Pisces, and to be connected to spirit instead of the ego, to be connected to this higher calling, which is Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces, and to understand the spiritual story of our life, the spiritual depths, the spiritual living life storylines, understanding of the world, the great mystical text, how it all integrates. But it's also the cesspool of the zodiac. It's also the karmic, deep subconscious bullshit that it's not bullshit. There's a wealth there, but it's hard. It's dark, and you can almost get lost there. And with so much Pisces, you can get really lost there. It can be months before you're out of it, and you don't even realize that you're not. And so she once loved this fragile secret love, rejection. So she who once loved secret love, if there is love that's just not in the up and up, and it, this is the time with Jupiter and Aries, like at 0 degrees, to move out of those dark places. This is the time to move out of any of the dark places that you've been, whether it's with inappropriate relationships, whether it's with inappropriate behavior within yourself, or just in your own life or with other people. It's time to move into the soul life and forgive yourself, have compassion. It's not about judgment. It's about that we have to experience things to understand them as soul. But it's time to move out of the dark places and into the light. And this fragility, you're not fragile, but you can feel fragile. And it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay. They can come with embarrassment. They can come with self-consciousness, which means that typically that prevents you from going into those emotions to heal them and to look for the messages and to look for the bigger, deeper meanings of it. And it's really important to do that, to face the self-consciousness, to face the embarrassment too, because it makes you stronger, because those are just emotions. this rejection. So feeling rejected, wherever you felt rejected, that is an emotion that can be released and has some deep messages for where you're not valuing yourself and accepting less than you deserve. So that's what that card is really saying. We have Orchid. I love her makeup. You can actually see it in this video since I have light at this moment today. Her eyes, you know, mimic the butterflies, and she who thrives, you know, it's really about a thriving time. Jupiter in Aries is thriving. However, it'll want to move way more forward than we are going to be able to at this time. But every action you take is a seed planted. Every action you take, every place you heal within, every time you go and look at the darkness to move through it, is monumental movement forward. So there's so much movement forward, but the mind might want that Jupiter, the belief system, the mind might want way more than and is not realizing that how we can move forward right now is powerful. And so this is about flourishing, prospering, blooming, and being in those amazing high frequencies. And when you can't, not judging yourself, but looking for what is there that you need to connect with. Not judging yourself for being in darkness, being sad, being in tough places, but really looking at what needs your attention and why are you there. Enchanté, she who enfolds, swath, embrace, self-care. So it really makes a lot of sense. Looks like she has like a slug around her, but it's just the fabric that's ugly. Brown, don't like brown. But she has this bird because it's like Return of the Bird Tribes. That book, it's a powerful book, and you know, it's like we're light goddesses or bird people. Like the birds are spirits. You know, the trees, the earth, all of the beauty, Mother Earth is always there for us to support us and to be with us. And you know, she who unfolds, like embrace, swath, self-care. So there's a difference between being really fully resourced and self-care. Self-care can almost be like a basic daily thing, but it can get too rote. It can become too boring, honestly. With Mercury and Gemini, you need stimulation for the mind. You need to mix it up, be really flowing. While Gemini is very analytical, it's also a happy, flowing, chattery, one topic to another topic to another topic. It's very flow in a way. It's very Piscean in a way of flow. And so it's like, how can you be versatile? It's very versatile, changing, mutable. So being in this place where like what fully resources you, and realizing that one day it may be one thing, another day it may be another thing, and that is that versatility, not expecting it to be the same way every day. And it takes sometimes just doing it, just getting stuck, and then being like, no, I don't want to eat the same thing every morning for breakfast. It's not even working for me. Like I don't even need to do that. My body doesn't even need that. I just, you know, I need glucose and protein every morning. It could be whatever, you know, one morning it's bone broth and some applesauce, another morning, you know, it's eggs and some honey. You know, it's just like being, the more you flow and the more you're willing to get out of those stuck places within, which the fixed signs right now, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus, are being changed the most over the last couple of years because they're fixed. And so asking them to come out of all those stuck places within. So those are the signs that really gotten the most kind of shifting and push and hardship due to it. So Nemesis, she who avenges, revenge, outcome, justice. Look at the places where you're feeling in this way, because it's time to go into that and to heal it and to look at what's there. And holding on to that gives you that experience of life. It doesn't hurt the other person. It just gives you that experience of being in that darkness. And there's messages to retrieve, but there's your power to retrieve, because that is sucking life energy from you. When you're in it, you can't just get out of it. It needs to be, you need to do things to move through it. And growing that deep spiritual gig bag and those skills, that's what you do in Alchemical Goddess. So I really encourage you to come into a goddess call. Also just starting to learn your chart, you know, just starting to learn the map of who you are as soul. Not knowing your chart and knowing where everything is in your chart and your 10 planets and the signs and houses that they are in. It's like being without a canteen in the desert. There's like, a good astrologer isn't telling you what you should do. You're going to have 2.5 kids, and that's using, there's astrologers who do psychic work too, but they're using the chart to do psychic work. The chart is telling you the potentialities. So if you're not meant to get married in this life, it won't be in your chart, and you don't have a chance to do that. And so, but if you are meant to get married, it's in your chart, but you can choose not to. You can choose not to be forever married and have 3 marriages, or there's all these things. Or our chart is our potentialities, and you still have free will. So it's really understanding that this is still your map, and it's your map of like, here's your destiny, here's the lessons, here's the karma, here's the bullshit, here's the great shit, here's your particular soul codes that are your amazingness and who you are. That's beautiful, which is probably the stuff that you got admonished for by society and other people. It's probably the shit that's the best things about you. And so looking at your chart and working with it is how you grow the deepest, powerful self-love. Let me pull some more cards. Let's see if the 10 cards are coming up, not just one. Okay. And pull some animales cards. This deck is so thick and robust, it's hard to shuffle and get a good shuffle going. So we have Antelope Spirit, that life is speeding up, but it's in reverse. That this is the Jupiter and Aries and the Mercury retrograde energy, that it feels like life is speeding up. So you might feel so sped up with this Aries energy and just want to go and make things happen and do this. But it's just one Taurus building step at a time. It's the garden. It's like you plant one plant, then you plant another, and then you plant another. It's one step at a time. You can't do everything all at once anyways. Let go of that urgency. And it's just not going to be that way. But use that fiery energy to get what you do have to get done with that Aries happiness and adventure vibe, and believing in the miracles and the magic, because Aries just believes in the unicorns, and miracles usually do happen to them. I keep getting Antelope Spirit. So it's really, there's something more that wants to come through, that life is changing, that there's a lot of changes happening. This whole month is about changing from everything we've been going through. We'll still be feeling that Pisces energy and that Neptune Jupiter conjunction from April 12th for this until the end of the month. But massive change and shifts are happening. It's here for us. And we have the North Node changing into Aries next summer. So this Aries energy is helping us to understand that energy and how to initiate action, that good feeling about going on the adventure, that lighting the match and getting started, that taking action Mars energy, and the positive higher octave of Mars, and understanding the shadow side of Mars. So this is helping us understand and prepare for the North Node moving into Aries to build that really healthy ego. The ego is the part of us that is identified with thoughts. So that's one definition. And that's the definition of the ego that doesn't serve us. But we are, going to use the mind to serve our heart and to serve our intuition and our highest soul. And so we have a healthy ego that is part of our identity. There's 12 zodiac signs, and the ego is Aries. And so we have a healthy ego, but we have the wounded ego. And that's what we want to use this energy to understand about ourselves. Jupiter is understanding. It's our beliefs. It's our story. And so we want to use this time with it in Aries until, I think it's October, November, I've got to look, that to understand our healthy ego and our wounded shadow ego, and to keep sorting that out, to keep understanding what is the highest expression of our healthy ego. We have Squirrel Spirit, which is believe in yourself. And Squirrel Spirit, squirrels are funny. They're frolicsome. They're playful. They're not, it's not a trickster per se energy, but it's like a like trying to get you to be involved with them, to joke, to go back and forth and like get your attention, and then to run away and to come back, and like they're frolicsome and frisky, and they're playful and loving, and but it's like this playful, love. And also the Squirrel Spirit is about deep belief in you. And it's funny, believing in yourself it's like, okay, it's almost like this platitude, but how do we get to the deeper part of it, where it's like, where do you not feel good? Because that's where you don't have that belief in yourself, and it's not going to be like you're just going to push a button. So how can you just plant a seed in that place and go into that little pocket of not feeling great about yourself, and just be willing to be with it, to be the witness, to be like the mother, the divine feminine energy of loving to that place within yourself, so it can grow out of it and move into a place where you believe in yourself in that spot. Squirrel spirit is also about experience, that you have to experience shit for yourself. Like, people can tell you all kinds of things, and you can know it intellectually and conceptually and really get it, and you can understand that, like, oh man, and then do it and then feel like that's just a bonehead move, or feel really dumb, subconscious, embarrassed, or just really admonishing yourself, judging yourself, and feeling like everyone is judging you too. And it's like, how do you get wisdom? It's by experience, because the knowledge alone is not wisdom. And so fuck the admonishment and the judgment from yourself or other people, and let yourself experience life, to truly experience it, so that when you, as a light goddess, are a healer, coach, sacred activist, helper, guide, mentor, a teacher, whatever you do in your business, or some other amazing thing that you do, tarot reader, YouTube channel, whatever it is you do, so that you can bring it from the highest level of wisdom from your own experience, because the sacred transmission comes from your own experience, because you have lived it. That's when you embody what you're teaching, and it's not just you repeating, regurgitating learned things. It's your own experience. You own that experience. And that's why we do have to go through the dark night of the soul, because it is our PhD for the work that we do in the world. It's important, and it's hard as fuck when you're in it. That darkness is hard when you're in it, especially when you feel really alone. Peacock spirit, let it shine, the heart. Peacocks eat plants that have poison in them, poisonous plants, and that is what's responsible for the beautiful colors of their plumage. And so peacock spirit really helps us understand that we take the darkness and we transform it into the light and the power within us. That's where we retrieve our power. That's why it's so important to go into the dark goddess, to retrieve our power as women, to retrieve our authority. I was talking about Lilith and Pluto having a quincunx, to retrieve our authority. That there is the quincunx is this not getting along energy. Like it's like a non-flow of our power and wanting to transform, but what are the dark Lilith spots, the black Lilith spots within us that we haven't seen yet, we haven't discovered it, and that's why we're not transforming or standing in our power, because we have to go into that and understand what it is, like what the poison is, why we were subservient to other people, why we were taking on other people's authority over our own. And so Peacock Spirit reminds us to shine the light by realizing that the poison can't kill you. You have the ability to transform it, to transcend it, to Black Lilith, which is to change it into the gold that it is, which is your power, your strength, your knowledge, your wisdom, because of having had the experience, and which brings humility because of that embarrassment or that self-consciousness of going through the experience where it's like, it's done, or other people are all telling you, and you're like, leave me alone. I've got to experience this. My soul doesn't have it yet. My soul hasn't experienced it. And why is there this big kerfluffle about it all? Like, we are down in this earth plane as souls to come down to move around the simulation and experience these different parts of the astrology, parts of the zodiac. Everything fits into astrology. Anything that happens in life fits into astrology. I didn't make this up. This is just what all of the wisdom and the great mystical texts will all come back to, is that it all fits into the astrology. When you're having a disjointed day and things just aren't flowing, that's a quincunx kind of day. That's what a quincunx is like. When you're having these deep challenges, those are squares, and there's decisions to be made and commitments. You know, the commitments in life, that's about Saturn. You know, where we are held back, it's Saturn, but we can also be held back in our speed to go around a curve. Like when you go around a mountain, curvy road in a sports car, you speed up to go around the curve, but you don't want to speed up too much, but you want to stick to the road, right? And so that's that Saturn, like titrating how much speed and just enough, but too much speed, and then you fly off into off the cliff, and then too little speed, and you're not going faster on the road, and then you start, you know, going in and out, and so it's not even helpful. So you know, Mercury is our mind and our worldview. And with it being in Gemini, it's a strong placement, and it's seeking truth, and it has to reflect upon all of that Pisces energy and all of that fog and what we've been through to understand its experience it's had. It's like we went through all these experiences, but it was a lot of experiences in that mist, that ship in the mist that doesn't know what the hell is around it. Sailing, could there be another ship there? Is there people like coming up on board? Is there people dropping off, you know, jumping into the ocean? What's happening here? And so we have to review it. We have hummingbird spirit, which is be here now. So it's really about being in this present moment. Easier said than done sometimes. So it's like, what can bring you back to this present moment? Where are you enjoying that Taurus energy, Taurus sun, the five senses, the great food, the great smells, the soft fabrics and textiles, the beautiful sunshine and the beauty? And if you're not in beautiful places and you're looking at it like crappy parking lots and crappy view outside your window, how can you move? How can you stop using excuses? And I'm not saying that you're doing it on purpose. I'm saying that we put ourselves in our own cage by Mercury, what we think that we have to live there, that we don't have the money, that we can't do this, we can't do that. And if you just start actually saying, universe, I want to get the fuck out of this apartment. I am looking at a brick wall next to me. I want a view. I want beauty. I want to wake up around beauty. And when you start making those moves, then spirit comes in to help you. It's that co-creation. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope this was a powerful episode for you. Come back daily. The Light Goddess podcast is daily, powerful episodes on divine feminine soulpreneurship, you know, divine feminine soul mission, sacred calling. It's about being a businesswoman, powerful woman in this world with a large platform, speaking, being a woman in the world, speaking is a massive thing in this world. We actually underestimate how important it is, because women are the hinge pin that move humanity into the light, not men. And it's not putting down men, but it's women who allow the men to step into their sacred masculine and allow other women to stop being subservient, that Black Lilith energy. So let's do that. Let's be the powerful light goddesses, sending you lots of love. And you can book an astrology reading at thegoddessastrologer.com. Reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Peace Hotep, doing some daily card pulls and things. LinkedIn. I don't look at my messages much there, and Facebook. So feel free to reach out and connect. Sending you lots of love.